Today on Locked On Red Wings, Detroit wins over the Sharks and the Senators to remain in a tie for the top of the Atlantic Division.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And you can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Apple, wherever you get them. If you want to listen to us ad-free, sign up for the Everydayer Club. You get access to exclusive ad-free episodes as well as a Discord in which you get to talk to Scotty and I. So check out the Everydayer Club by going to lockedonpodcast.com/Everydayer Club. Just find the Red Wings part, click on that, sign up, subscribe, and you have that access. Also got to let you guys know, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. And FanDuel is officially in playoff mode, so visit FanDuel, an official sports partner of the NFL, and grab your Profit Boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Scotty, the Red Wings won both games this weekend. Friday over the San Jose Sharks, Sunday in overtime against the always aggressive Ottawa Senators. And, I mean, obviously we're recording this very shortly after the win against the Ottawa Senators, so we're still kind of, at least I'm still riding that high. You're very even keel in general. You're very good about bringing yourself back down to level. I like to ride that high. We are going to talk first about the San Jose Sharks game, as we're going to try to do it chronologically here. Red Wings on Friday beat the Sharks 4-2 at LCA, a team that on the second half of a back-to-back and really only have one effective scorer in Macklin Celebrini, Detroit should have beat, and they did 4-2. Scotty, what is your primary storyline from that game?
Woo! What a ball game. Let's go. What a weekend.
Did you say that specifically because I called you even keel, or were you going to do that already?
Oh my goodness, dude. I am honestly I think it's just the fact that it's Ottawa. Oh my blood was boiling. I know you sent me that text too. During the game, we both were just I love beating the Sens.
Oh, I know.
It was, I mean, we said it going into the weekend, right? This needs to be, the expectation should be a 4-point weekend. And that is what they walk away with. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. And the fact that we get to have a little bit of a victory Monday, if you will, is beautiful. I think the storyline from the Sharks game specifically, I don't know if it's the biggest storyline, and we can talk Gibson, we can talk top line. But Marco Kasper recording 2 points made me shed a tear. I'm not sure if it's the biggest one, and there probably are bigger storylines in this win, and it was far more than just a one-man show out there. There was a lot of really good performances. But I thought Marco Kasper played one of the best games he's played, quite literally. It might be his best game, to be honest with you, this whole season. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And we saw him with a lot of the same personnel on Sunday because of that. And maybe not as dramatic as results, but still, I think he certainly looked better this weekend than he has been. So we'll take 2 points and a goal.
Be level with me. Did you do that specifically because I was like, oh, you're even keel, you're good about coming down? Or did you have that plan from the get-go?
I was the first time when you hit record, I was the first time I'm talking, I'm going to do that because this was a great weekend. And then you said that, and I was well, now I'm definitely doing it. So it was more of a reinforcement than it was the birth of the idea. Yeah.
That's very funny because here I am. I'm like, Scotty, you're so good.
It was really bad timing on your part. Yeah, because I was I'm doing it.
I would argue it was great timing, actually.
True. Touche.
But I agree with you as far as the Sharks game go. The storyline's got to be Marco Kasper, right? He has one of his best, not even one of, it was his best game of the season.
I think so.
He looked like Marco Kasper from the second half of last season, in which, he had 30 points from January onward and got a few Calder votes. Didn't come nearly close to winning it, but he got a couple thrown in there, which was nice to see. And it wasn't just he had the great assist, and then he got rewarded with the empty net goal. It was his overall play. He played with a pace in that game and an aggressiveness in the corners that we hadn't seen. Not that he'd been bad. We talked about all season. Like, he's looked fine. He's done the right things. He's gone to the right areas. He just hasn't necessarily been getting rewarded or been getting.
Too, man.
He had 5 shots on goal in that hockey game. He was dangerous all game long. And then that assist. First of all, I don't know what the hell John Klingberg was doing there. I mean, I think what it was is he got the puck in a bad spot near the blue line and felt some pressure, didn't want to turn it over, so he felt, well, get it out of danger in the neutral zone was better. Sure. But it went right off the boards to Kasper, who made a nice move around Klingberg, fought off with his positioning. And that's the thing about Kasper is he's supposed to be a good puck protector and strong, and he fought off Michael Misa, who's obviously a rookie, and then fed a perfect feed through the legs of the remaining defender to find JT Compher. And it felt like from that moment on, Marco Kasper's like, oh, I'm back. And he was great all game, got bumped up to the first line for a little bit, and then got rewarded with the empty net goal. For sure, without a shadow of a doubt, was the playmaker, difference maker, storyline of the game, whatever branding term you want to use to call it. And then
I think we've used all 3 of those in the last 3 or 4 years at some point. So
I mean, our structure usually remains the same. We just change the name to try and fit
It's a marketing strategy.
It's a marketing strategy.
It's a branding method. Yeah.
And then, not to go ahead too far, but he also had a really nice assist against Ottawa as well in Lucas Raymond's goal, where he got promoted to the top line very shortly into the game, and just a touch pass right to Lucas Raymond's stick in the neutral zone, and Raymond did the classic pull the puck back, fire it home for a goal. So great game against the Sharks for Kasper. Great weekend overall for him, and that's, you talk about players in the second half who could turn it on to help the Red Wings put the dagger in this thing and end their drought.
Such a long way.
It would be. So great to see from Marco Kasper. As far as other storylines or notable performers from this hockey game, Scotty, who do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about John Gibson twice. I want to talk about John Gibson in this game, and then inevitably again when we get to Ottawa.
You just do it both now. If you're going to talk about them both, just do it.
Yeah,
now.
I thought he was fantastic. Really, I mean, I guess all weekend. And like 5 goals in 2 games isn't going to be like, oh, wow, like this was some generational stretch or anything like that. But he just continues to be consistent. And I think that is all we really were asking for, going into this season. And it's certainly what the Wings have gotten over the last couple of months. He's just been consistently great. And that is an awesome thing. So, yeah, I they had I forget who it was. Shoot. They interviewed a FanDuel Sports Network. I think it was Daniela Bruce interviewed somebody on Sunday, one of the players. And, he talked about that Gibson's probably been their best player. And he's, a huge reason of why they're able to have the success that they've had over the last couple of months. So, yeah, I mean, obviously had a solid performance, had a 909 or a 910 against San Jose, but I thought he was really solid the whole weekend.
Yeah, I mean, he early in that game, about halfway through the first, he let in his first, what I would call softie in a long while. Macklin Celebrini caught him up high with a shot.
Yeah.
He just kind of sat in the paint behind him. And then Will Smith, fresh off injury, batted it home. That was one that, he wants to have back, but he locked in after that. The Graf goal was a really nice redirection. Axel Sandin Pellikka failed to tie up or put the body on Graf out front. Nice feed from Nick Leddy, who got literally waived on Sunday. But that's neither here nor there. Just a little fun anecdote.
Red Wings legend, by the way.
Red Wings legend, Nick Leddy. But he made the third period, the Sharks were pushing, and they were stretching the ice out, had long odd man rushes on long passes, and he made big saves. He had a huge save against Ottawa. Pull up their correct notes. But he made huge saves time and time again in the third period with a big save on Celebrini. He made 2 other big saves on Celebrini and Orlov in the first penalty kill of the game in the third period. So he just, in the third, when the Red Wings are trying to, at first, protect a tie came up huge, and then obviously the Red Wings took the lead shortly into the third period, protect the lead. He was great. I didn't think, obviously his save percentage was sub-high 900 in the Ottawa game, but I thought he was good enough. The first goal against, you really can't fault him for. That Batherson goal, and the Cousins goal was a power play where everybody left him. The Batherson goal, he made 2 saves, a second rebound was buried home. So 2 were like defensive breakdowns where they weren't able to clear the puck on a penalty kill and in the net front. So he was really good in that game, even though the save percentage would say otherwise. But that's why you watch the games too, Scotty. So we're going to take a quick break. Quick break is what I almost said. A quick break. And when we return, we'll continue talking about these games. Stay tuned to segment 2 of Locked On Red Wings. The wildcard round is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. The divisional round is here. In fact, got to update this copy, and it's almost over. So make sure you head on over to FanDuel. They're giving customers even more ways to get in on the action because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts that you can apply to the bets you like most. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts you want to apply. The boosts let you lean into game day instincts, whether you're backing momentum, defense, quarterback play, or coaching. The boosts give you more juice on the bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. You make your picks, then apply your profit boosts to go for an even bigger payout while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Segment 2, Locked On Red Wings. The Sharks game, Scotty, going back to that, because we are primarily talking about the Sharks here. Just a couple players. It makes no sense to talk about once and then talk about it again later in the game. So we just just knock it out right then and there. But Dylan Larkin scored what inevitably ended up being the game-winning goal at 5-on-5. And that's a big deal because he hasn't scored a 5-on-5 goal, to my knowledge, since December 20th, over a full month prior in the big dominant win over the Washington Capitals, 5-2. So that win, he had to earn it, mind you, because he had to bang it home and just barely cross the goal line, and he knew it went in. But it was a nice play. JVR intercepted the play, or I believe that was Marco. It was JVR. Nope, this is the wrong game. Way to go, Brian. That's what happens when you have multiple games. It was JVR behind the net, who I said 3 times now, who read the play, intercepted the pass, found Lucas Raymond, put it across for Dylan Larkin, whiffed on the first attempt and batted it home. That was a big goal for the top line after reuniting Larkin and Lucas Raymond. It was a big goal for Dylan Larkin, who's had mighty struggles at 5-on-5, getting points on the board, and ended up being the game winner. So I was happy to see that for Dylan Larkin, who I thought actually really struggled at the start of the game. I counted at least 2, maybe 3 turnovers in the first period that almost cost the Red Wings. So I was happy to see that for him.
For sure. And we've talked a lot about the personnel grouping and just what the lineup card is going to look like and whatnot going forward. And you know, who you surround Dylan Larkin with. And then obviously in this game and in the Sens game, well, we saw the Sens game was the Raymond and JVR, and then Raymond misses time, so then there's more shuffling and just he felt like he played with about half the roster this weekend. But I mean, ultimately, I think that, as you said, it's nothing but a good thing, and I mean the fact that the Wings have been able to produce the way they have over the last month without a ton of 5-on-5 success from Larkin, I think is almost in a weird way reassuring, because you know that he will eventually. Like, it's not like that's just going to last forever. And so the fact that is coming, and they already are kind of winning, without it lately, has been a big positive, I guess, weirdly. But we'll see. And I agree with you. I think that it's a big moment for him and hopefully a turning point.
You know who was low key though, the most impactful player in this hockey game? Lucas Raymond had 3 assists against the San Jose Sharks.
They'll do it.
And it happened so quietly because it was overshadowed by Marco Kasper, John Gibson. And then you look at the stat sheet, you go, wait, Raymond has 3 assists and he leads the team with 52 points now, on pace for 90 points this season. Oh, that's pretty dang good for another guy who's, again, we've talked about, struggled to score at 5-on-5. He set up Alex DeBrincat for, at the time, his 25th goal of the season on a power play. Great screen by JVR, by the way. Took the eyes away from Askarov. He did not see the pass across.
Great screen is an understatement. It's the greatest screen that has ever been set in the history of hockey.
For real. And we'll talk about JVR's goal with the Ottawa Senators in a moment.
Oh, my goodness. Can you believe? What a sicko, dude. What an absolute gross sicko.
I can't even talk on the air about the text I sent you after that.
Oh, my God. True. Correct. Yeah. Golly.
It was sick. Alex DeBrincat buries his 25th of the season on the power play, but Lucas Raymond assisted with the primary on that one. He got the primary on Dylan Larkin's goal, obviously sending it across the paint, and then very selflessly, when he could have fired it from neutral zone into the net, sends it Marco Kasper's way to reward him with a well-deserved goal. So 3 assists for Lucas Raymond. So great game for Raymond as they continue to try to get back to form at 5-on-5. It's weird blessing to have, too, when you can look at your 2 best players and see them struggle at 5-on-5, but then look at the stat sheet and see game after game after game. A lot of it's because the power play is so good. But game after game, they're still there. They're still scoring. It's just not coming at even strength. They're still your best players contributing night in and night out. They're just struggling at 5-on-5. And don't get me wrong, you've got to fix that. They've got to get better. They were bottom of the stat sheet, both the Sharks game and the Ottawa Senators game when it comes to shot attempt share at 5-on-5. In expected goal share, they were dominated against the Ottawa Senators. But they're finding ways to score. And they're getting back to finding ways to score at 5-on-5 because they both did in the Sharks and Senators game. So it's a blessing in disguise as well. You recognize that they're struggling, for them to still be able to contribute on the stat sheet despite that is a huge boon for those 2 players to have for a team trying to break a drought. It's a great thing. Yeah,
100%. The only other thing I really want to bring up in this game, unless you have more, is just ASP getting less than 9 minutes again, and was asked about it by the media.
Yeah.
And I thought that his answer was McClellan's answer was very, I think he kind of like said what he wanted to say without saying it directly, where he's like, yeah, it's game situation where, it was a game. If we had a lead, he'd be back out there. We love him in the offensive zone. He's very young. He'll be really good, but he still has to develop. Like,
trust the evidence. Trust the evidence of your eyes.
Right. It's pretty much everything we and the rest of the fan base has been presuming. So
McClellan is telling the truth when he says that. It's situational. They're going to put him in situations they can trust him in. But then look at those situations to figure out what they're trying to tell you. They're telling you on the ice with how they deploy him.
Right. What's my favorite saying? Teams will tell you how they feel about a player if you just listen.
Right. And it's he did mention, like, he's a 20-year-old. He's going to get stronger, and he will. Like, this is all, it's just a development thing.
For sure.
My only concern, and I will defer to Todd McClellan and Steve Yzerman, because they've been able to make these decisions in the past. And I trust them to do that. But my only concern is when you play him that little, what's best for his development? I understand. We've had this conversation. I understand with Axel Sandin Pellikka. Who else are you going to put there? Because Eric Gustafsson's not going to be any better. You know that Justin Hull is not going to be any better, or Hamonic or JBD is not going to be any better on the right side there. I get that. But is it best for ASP to only be playing 9.5 minutes a night at the NHL level? Is it best for the team to be playing effectively with 5 defensemen all game, every game?
Dude, Edvinsson played 25 minutes this game.
Right. But I trust them because, like, they haven't shied away from sending guys down in the past. Like, MBN struggled, they sent him down. Danielson struggled, they sent him down. Well, so clearly they see something that I don't see, and I trust them to make that decision.
Well,
but it
I
just
also think
what I'm
you have to remember too, like, situational doesn't, that goes both ways a little bit. Like, he played almost 15 minutes on Sunday. So, like, It's not like he'll be getting 7-8 minutes every night. It is the fact that just it's going to be game by game. Some games he's
Right.
going to get second pair minutes throughout all 60, and some games he's going to get third pair minutes and not play the entire third. And it just depends on the flow of the game. And I don't have an issue with that as long as that is the case. I agree with you. If he's getting 7 a night, there's no point. But I think as long as that's still a fluid situation, I'm cool with it.
And it could also be a fatigue thing, right? Like the NHL is a physical game, and he's playing a lot of hockey in the NHL, and that's really hard for a guy to do when you're 20 years old. If you send him down to Grand Rapids and play him 20 minutes a night, that's not going to help with his fatigue.
For sure.
Like, so, I mean, there are things I'm concerned about, but I will I'll defer to the head coach of the Detroit Red Wings to make the right call. Real big of me, I know.
Good for you, man. What a guy.
We're going to go to another break. When we return, we'll talk about the game against the Ottawa Senators, as well as sending well wishes to Mickey Redmond and briefly touch on the Anderson trade that happened on Sunday night, finally happened on Sunday night. So stay tuned to segment 3 of Locked On Red Wings. If you've ever hired someone who looked good on paper but wasn't the right fit, you know how important that is. When you want candidates who truly match what you're looking for, trust Indeed's sponsored jobs. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored job posts put your job at the top of the page and help you reach the right candidates faster. If I needed to hire a replacement for Scotty for this show, I'd go straight to Indeed and be very specific about what I look for. Real experience, not just a resume buzzword. Probably put something on there like can't have a big head or something. Instead of struggling to get your job post seen, Indeed sponsored jobs help listing stand out and reach quality candidates faster. And according to Indeed data, sponsored job posts directly on Indeed are 90% more likely to report a hire than sponsored jobs. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with less stress, less time, and more results using Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of this show get a $75 sponsored job credit to help you give your job the premium placement it deserves at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support the show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Indeed they do.
Nice. I really like this read, by the way. It gives me that end to just take a little shot at you every time. And, you're in the background. What are you going to do about it?
Clearly at nothing. I haven't done anything yet about it. So there's your answer.
Yeah, nice. It's good. Usually you have the leg up on me, so it's nice to have that. Scotty, the Red Wings beat the Ottawa Senators in a thrilling OT winner, 4-3. Alex DeBrincat scores the game winner. You know, you kind of touched on it in segment 1. We touched upon a couple of the players, John Gibson and Marco Kasper, who, played in this game, and Marco Kasper got another assist. But when it comes to the storyline of beating the Senators 4-3 in overtime, like what pops into your head first?
Screaming and loud noises.
Yeah, now would be a good time to have done that.
I think that is kind of
just the big raw.
Yeah, dude. They're so frustrating to play against, and they have had the upper hand against the Wings for years now. And the thing that stands out, I think, the most to me, and I said this to you before we hit record, is, to me, time and time again, we have seen this movie before where Ottawa gets out to an early lead, or like it's a close game in the first period, and then stuff gets super chippy and the Wings completely fall apart. And they've done it time and time again against the Sens specifically. And so I think for me, that is the biggest storyline in my head, is just like things got chippy. There was a lot of back and forth. I hated the penalty that Soderblom took in that moment. But like that, that's maybe a little bit of hindsight 2020. Like, I love somebody sticking up for Raymond. I like there is so much physicality and just kind of chaos whenever these two teams play. And I just feel like in the past, every time that has happened, the Wings have completely crumbled. and ended up, losing 9-3 or whatever it was a couple of years ago. Whereas in this game, they were able to keep their heads on relatively and continue to focus on the ice and not let it get to them and still walk out of there with 2 points. And I think that that's the biggest thing for me.
So it doesn't just feel like the Ottawa Senators historically these last few years have just dominated the Detroit Red Wings in regular season hockey. It's been a fact. Since 2020, the bubble year, the first COVID year, the Senators have won at least 3 of the matchups between the Detroit Red Wings every single year. In 2020, they won 3 of 4. In 2022, they won all 3 because they only played 3 that year. 23, they won 3 of 4, 3 of 4, 3 of 4. This will be the first season since 2019 the Red Wings take at least 2 wins against the Ottawa Senators. It matters. And, our friends over at Locked On Sens are probably going to listen to this episode, and they're going to, have a field day. But 3 seasons ago, they effectively ended the Red Wings season. Those back-to-back losses. Yeah. Ever since then, it's been, circled on the calendar as a big game for the Red Wings. And they're on the second half of a back-to-back. They've had terrible goaltending all year long. Jake Sanderson called out his goaltender, his rookie goaltender, after the Montreal loss because they blew a 2-0 lead, and then he let in a very savable Cole Caulfield slap shot for the OT winner. They're coming into Detroit. James Reimer, who's 37-38, making his season debut, coming off an amateur tryout.
Dude, yeah, getting pulled off the couch to go, like Phillip Rivers style, just getting thrown out there.
There's absolutely no excuse to lose this game. So if they had lost, it would have stung. It wouldn't have been the end of the season. I'd have definitely been preaching patience because, you're still in a great position standings-wise even if you lose. But these Ottawa games matter, and this one needed to be a win. And so the fact that they came out and they started slow again, which is continually being a gripe for me, but then dominated second and third periods, took to overtime because they couldn't score on their chances, but they did get the win, and like you said, didn't let the chippiness that the Ottawa Senators come with, and that's always been what has affected them, right? In those games past, they're close in skill level, but Ottawa played with a level of physicality every single year that Detroit struggled to handle, and they tried it in this game early on. Brady Tkachuk, starts to scrum in front of the bench, and what does Ben Chirot do? Goes in there, just grabs him by the collar,
dude, like a
and
toddler,
yanks him away.
Literally like a toddler getting pulled away by a parent. Yeah,
and the Red Wings come away with the power play in that instance, and they don't let it get to their heads. Ridley Gregg takes a cheap shot at Lucas Raymond at center ice. He leads the second period and doesn't come back till the third. And then the Red Wings don't let it shake them. Elmer Soderblom got him back later. Now, unfortunately, Ottawa did score on that power play, but, he waited and he tried to sell it. He had incidental contact and fell into him, but he definitely, got the... They waited for their moment. They didn't let it rattle them, and they were able to take advantage of a tired Ottawa Senators team. It was a good game, and I'm thrilled because currently Ottawa Senators are 15 points back of the Detroit Red Wings. So it's a big rivalry, and I like this Ottawa team on paper. As a neutral observer, they're a good team, and they lead the league in 5-on-5 statistics. They've had historically bad goaltending, and that's a big reason they're as bad as they are. Their wins aren't easy. It's just that their goaltending can't make a save. So it was a huge win for the Detroit Red Wings, and I'm very thrilled that it was Alex DeBrincat, of all people, who scored the OT winner.
Well.
Right. Coming down the ice. Great little touch pass from Andrew Kopp as well to kind of spring DeBrincat a little bit. Great shot over the shoulder of James Reimer, and that's his 26th goal of the season. He's been incredible all year long since his slow start. I almost wish it was in Ottawa, though, because of all the boos. Because
it would have been incredible for DeBrincat to score an OT game winner in Ottawa. Yeah, that would have been pretty cool. But.
And speaking of DeBrincat, too, great transition. What a weekend he had. He scored back-to-back goals against the Sharks and against the Senators, but it's more than the goal scoring with him. In both games, he's such a big reason. Andrew Kopp's been great, but he's such a big reason that second line succeeds because he has got a nonstop motor. He's got speed, and despite his size, he's not afraid to engage physically in the corners on both the forecheck and the backcheck. He wins a lot of those puck battles, again, despite his size, and he sets his teammates up for goals. Prashant Iyer put it best on a social media post on Sunday. He's not afraid. He scores goals in every situation. 5-on-5, power play, OT, off the rush, off the cycle. he's a do-it-all goal scorer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He has been honestly more than advertised when they traded and signed him. I love Alex DeBrincat. He's one of my favorite players on this team.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. And he's having obviously a career year. I mean, he's on pace for. I'm really excited about, honestly, just kind of like score sheet watching and seeing how many goals he could end the season with, because I think that this could be like I said, career year, and the fact that it's this level of production while also playing maybe the best like transition and two-way game of his entire career as well is pretty remarkable.
Well, he's on pace for 43, so he's doing really well.
Not
Scotty,
bad.
a couple other goal scorers in this hockey game. Which one do you want to talk about? We have a 5-on-5 goal from Lucas Raymond. We have a electric goal that we've already hinted at from one James Van Riemsdyk, and then we have Axel Sandin-Pellikka on the power play. Which one do you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, all three of them. I think.
Well, starting with,
I think the ASP goal is important. I think for him, we've talked a lot about his deployment and how many shifts he gets and the situational whatever. Like, it's been a big talking point, but I think it's important to remember that he does have a lot of value still in the offensive zone, and he had another great slap shot on the second power play of this game a little bit later in the first period too. So I think like huge credit to him. The Raymond goal was disgusting. Like he pulls the puck back. That is inches away from the defender's stick, and then he's able to rifle it home. That was an absolute beauty. And then like JVR's the JVR for heart. He's the greatest to ever lace him up. And I really don't have too much else to say. I guess JVR starting off and playing a lot of first line minutes in this game certainly matters. He ended with over 15 minutes of ice time, which was certainly more than most of the forwards at least. And then obviously had a lot of power play time still. He didn't have first line even strength minutes. He had fewer than 10. I think he had the second or third fewest even strength minutes on the entire team in this game. So certainly was not just thrown out there all the time. It was kind of a little bit of a revolving door, obviously, but it was the first game that we saw that and saw, in the offensive zone, if Larkin is out there, on a face-off or whatever in the offensive zone, JVR is taking the ice, and he's going to go park in front of the net and try to make something happen. And that's one of the goals of the year, truly, for the Wings.
Yeah, as far as the Axel Sandin-Pellikka goal goes, like the goal scoring ability and the goal scoring instinct from ASP, never in doubt.
Yeah.
When he scores those goals, it's electric. It gets your blood pumping, and that's what gets me so excited about his future. It was a great shot, another great screen. Andrew Kopp this time setting the screen, and that's how they screen the goalie, man.
I know it only took like 4 months for them to start actually doing it, but they did it.
Remember when we were talking about that early in the season about how the team doesn't go to the net because they weren't getting scoring because nobody wanted to take the eyes away from the goalie? You do it, and you score a lot more goals. But a well-placed shot, he just barely missed the net, like you said earlier. So really happy for Axel Sandin-Pellikka, who had still the fewest shifts amongst defensemen, but played 14 minutes of total ice time in this hockey game for getting on the score sheet. Really happy for him. It's got to be a confidence booster when you find the back of the net on the power play. But yeah, the James Van Riemsdyk goal, it's almost poetic too, because the night prior, Tim Stutzla made the same move to score on the goaltender Fowler, I believe, for the, might have been Montembeault in net. I can't remember. I think it was Montembeault in net for the Montreal Canadiens, where he goes between the legs and buries it. Then for the very next night, for James Van Riemsdyk on the power play to do the same thing against that team, the Ottawa Senators, the team that did it the night before, like that goal doesn't happen very often. You see players try it, but it doesn't happen a lot at the professional level.
When was the last time you did that?
Beautiful. I've never done that. Never in my life, Scotty, have I ever done that. Dude, no scoring touch whatsoever. I told you about my goal that I scored 2 weeks ago, right? The day before my 30th birthday. It was the final goal of my 20.
Or something, yeah.
I chased down the puck in the corner in the offensive zone. Totally off topic. I'll be quick. I just send it to the net front. A hope and a prayer. Men's league move. The goalie deflects it off his stick, trying to just poke check it away into the uncovered mouth of his teammate, because you don't have to wear a cage in men's league hockey, off his mouth into the back of the net. The refs see it go off his mouth, so they don't see the goal initially. So they're worried about the player. I'm like, the puck's in. The puck is in the net, and they had to like confab and talk about it before granting me the goal off the player's mouth.
Granting
me
the goal.
I'm like, it's in
That's
the net.
mine. That is my goal.
I do not score a lot. I went a full calendar year last year without scoring a goal. I have
Nice.
3 this season. So
Look at
we
this
take them
guy.
any way we can get them. Scotty, anyways, back on topic. I just wanted to tell that anecdote. A lot of fun. The JVR goal was electric. He's just continuing to build off his incredible season. Lucas Raymond scores 5-on-5. We mentioned that earlier on a great one-touch pass from Marco Kasper. The only other thing really from this game I want to talk about, and this is more of a weekend thing, the fourth line hasn't scored, but they've been so good every time they take the ice.
So
I
close
feel like
to score. I mean, they had 2 barely misses in the Ottawa game alone.
now take into account ice time, right, at 5-on-5. They always have the fewest because of the fourth line, but they led the Sharks game in shot attempt share at 75%, and they led the Sharks game in expected goal share at 94%. In the Ottawa game, they led the Red Wings forward group with a shot attempt share, again, of 75%. And they were second of the forward group in expected goal share at 80%. So they're consistently, in the limited amount of ice time they're getting, being an offensive force. And it's because their forecheck and their long reach as a line, they're constantly intercepting pucks and starting things and passing the torch to the next line. So wanted to be very brief on that. But the Appleton, Rasmussen, Soderblom line's been very good, even if they haven't been scoring.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think we have time to talk about the Anderson thing. He got dealt to Vegas for a little bit.
We got an off day tomorrow.
We got an off day tomorrow. We can touch on that. Mickey Redmond is going to miss some time. He's having a surgical procedure fusing 2 vertebrae together in the cervical spine area. I don't know the medical jargon that well. I just read it on the social post. So obviously wishing Mickey Redmond nothing but the best. Great gesture by the Detroit Red Wings as they left the ice, because, he goes down between the benches.
Dude, all
in the third
players.
period. All the players wishing him the best. I love how loved Mickey is.
Yeah, man. He means everything to this organization, and I love how the players feel it just as much as the fans. I think that's a beautiful thing. And yeah, the optimistic part of it is that the reason they timed it for when they did is so that he would be able to be back and fully healthy by the end of the Olympic break. So hopefully that's the case, and hopefully we can have the best color commentator in the biz for a playoff push. That'd be pretty darn fun.
Wishing nothing but the best for his procedure and his recovery. Hope you're back in the booth very quickly, Mickey Redmond. Scotty, any final thoughts?
We ball, baby.
We do ball. We'll be back with a new episode tomorrow. 2 off days leading into a back-to-back. So stay tuned. Same time, same day, same place.
Yep, same
Your
day.
team.
We're here one day.
5 episodes a week, but one day. All in one day. Your team every day.